Hey, how's it going? Wilson here, and I'm going to be covering OZARK Season 3, Episode 2, titled Civil Union. This is going to be like a review or more of like a recap of what happened in the episode, as well as it'll include some of my thoughts. So this episode was mostly about marriage, I guess you could say. Overall, there's always like tons of trust issues, I feel like, between the characters, and there's just a lot of drama, but it makes like the story a lot more interesting anyways. So how I do this is I kind of go down the line with characters and just talk a bit about what they did within the episode, and just I basically just look into the impact that each character had within the episode. So for instance, this is the first time we're seeing Wendy's brother, known as Ben. So Ben, he comes off as like a chill substitute teacher, and then you realize that he has like his own issues when he just goes off on all of the students and just like literally throws all of their phones into like what is it, like a construction dispenser? I don't know what it's called exactly, but he basically shredded everything. And yeah, that was his intro to the show, so that was pretty funny. And more about him, it seems like he might have had a bad history, considering that Jonah didn't want to be like him, like even though that's his uncle. He thought that it would have like a very negative impact towards himself from everyone's perspective if he were to grow up to be like his Uncle Ben. And also Ben, like, it was interesting when he came across the casino. He visited the Ozarks just to basically crash at the Bird's family's home. So I guess he's gonna be a part of this season, which is pretty nice. It's always nice to see new faces. It was kind of funny when he visited Ruth, or came across Ruth and got the Ruth treatment, called her a little blonde Nazi. So that's something. And then he also had an impact by giving Jonah the idea of being perverted, basically. But we'll get into more about like the other characters in a bit. So yeah, that's Ben, and there he is. And okay, so we got Marty. So Marty's in this episode still having a lot of trust issues with Wendy. He's like hacking her phone by listening to her conversations. He even listened to Wendy's phone call in the middle of the night talking to Navarro. Basically, he learned that she is trying to seal the deal with the casino on behalf of Navarro, because Navarro's life and family is like in danger. Like more and more of his men are being killed like every day, and he's very invested. Like, he's basically very invested with what's going on with the casino. So Marty is basically in on Wendy's idea of trying to sell or like buy out a casino from this old couple. Old couple's name is Carl and Anita, but little do Helen and Wendy know that Marty actually doesn't want to buy it. He wants their plan to go south without actually letting them know. So a lot of things happen in this episode, which was really insane. At first, to sabotage the plan, Marty tells Carl to like basically follow his dream, not his wife's dream, to basically keep the casino. And then that didn't work out because I guess having more money be involved with Wendy and Helen trying to buy out the casino cracked Anita and Carl and made them decide to sell. And then Marty goes to Frank Cosgrove, which is another huge problem for him. Well, he'll probably be a huge problem later. And he gets Cosgrove to basically set his son up to sabotage this rival casino to Carl and Anita's casino. So because that casino went down in flames because it bursted through, like, because of fireworks, Carl and Anita's value went up significantly. So Marty's, man, he's just doing everything he can to sabotage the deal to buy the casino. And not only are there like trust issues going on between Wendy and Marty, but Marty is also dealing with a lot more stress considering that Helen is living in the Ozarks now for the next few months, like during the summertime. And also Ben, Wendy's brother, is crashing at their place, so he could potentially become a liability. So yeah, there's a lot of shit going on for real. And moving on to, let's say, Ruth. Sorry, this is kind of like jumpy, out of order and everything. But Ruth, I wouldn't say she did too much within this episode. She basically talked to Ben, you know, where he called her little Nazi. She saw Helen at Marty's home when they were having like a welcoming or like just little get together, and that kind of traumatized her a little, considering that Helen did torture her or get her tortured with like the water torturing and everything last season. And then Ruth also found a slot machine scam, which was very huge because she basically gave Wendy leverage over the couple to buy out their casino by sabotaging all of their basically slot machines. And it sealed the deal. Like, it pissed off Marty though, because knowing that the deal was sealed, it just made things even more rough for the family, because now they're in like deeper within Navarro's affiliation. And a little more about Wendy. Basically, she's being like more ruthless like as the show goes on. Even Ben is starting to see that she's changing. Like, he likes where Wendy's at right now because she's kind of like in control. She knows what she's doing and all. But Wendy's really going behind Marty's back. So that really sucks that there's a lot of things going on between them. And even though Marty caught her in a lie, like considering the phone conversation she had with Navarro, like he didn't call her out on it. So they're just gonna drag this mistrust throughout the whole season, and something big and bad's gonna happen. I could already see that for like brewing and just being foreshadowed. But yeah, Wendy seems to be having a good relationship with Helen. She is a businesswoman, like a real good one, and she's just crashing through everything, getting stuff done. And ideally, Marty and Wendy wants to do what's best for their families, so they're just doing it a little bit differently. So that's the only issue, but I really do hope that things work out for the family. And now, speaking of Helen, her daughter is in town now. Initially, she was gonna get both her son and daughter in, but her husband, named Gene, he freaking sent out an Amber Alert, basically because he had custody of the kids and ended up getting the son back. I guess that's what happened. So the daughter, Erin, is now by herself with Helen in the Ozarks. And Helen comes off as a little bratty at first, but who knows, maybe she'll be a better character. She does get along with Charlotte, which we'll get into in a little bit, so there's that. And Helen has her own things to deal with, considering Navarro's also on her to try to make the casino deal like solidified, which that's what happened. And it was kind of odd how she ended up getting Gene beat up, her own husband. So again, going back to the overall story of like a civil union and like marriage being involved, from my perspective, dude, like couples have trust issues, and she's just beating up on Gene with other people. Oh, and speaking of marriage, sorry, I'm jumping all over again. The couple, Anita and Carl, turns out Anita sees Carl as a weak man and within their relationship, so she felt like they were taken advantage of because of his weakness, and that's been exposed by Wendy. And then, yeah, they had it bad because they lost the casino, you know, for like a small sum of money. But yeah, back to Helen. So she's in the Ozarks now, and she's gonna be a bigger character now, recurring a lot more since she's actually here permanently. So there's that. That's just wrapping Helen up. So we got Jonah. He also didn't have like much of a role. He met his Uncle Ben. He's still looking out for Buddy's things, and he tells Ben a little bit about Buddy, like how he liked to go skinny dipping. And Ben actually took the idea, so that little snippet at the end of the episode, Ben ends up going skinny dipping into the lake, just running out bare, butt naked. I thought that was really, really funny. And Jonah is like being a little perverted. He's like using his drone to like spy on Aaron and his sister, and throughout that whole episode his drone crashed twice, so I thought that was also another funny snippet. And he also learned that Darlene is carrying Ezekiel, so I guess he was a little hurt by that because Wendy and Marty said that Ezekiel, the baby, went to a different family, like a nice caring family, but Darlene, nope. Didn't expect that. And speaking of Charlotte, she's still Wendy's assistant. She doesn't seem like she sides with either of her parents. She doesn't want like to be caught in between them, so she's just like very leveled with them. And she seems to be getting along with Aaron and wants to show her around. And I thought it was interesting how Aaron mentioned Party Cove, which is probably big within the Ozarks, within like the teenager scene. So I guess she really wants to go and lose her virginity there and not care who it is that takes her virginity. And I guess Charlotte had little like flashbacks and she's just like, nah, dude, it's not worth it, like, because she went through the same experience. So very interesting how they threw that in there. Okay, so Darlene also didn't have much within this episode, but she did relate to Wyatt. Speaking of Wyatt, he is doing yard work for Darlene still, and I guess Darlene and Wyatt have something in common in which they lost a loved one, which is Jacob and Wyatt's father. I forgot his name, but yeah, I guess they both talk to their family even though they're dead. So there's that. And she also offered her cabin to Wyatt, so I guess he's gonna be on her residence for an even longer time, just supporting and helping her. Lastly, last bit I want to get into is just Trevor, I think that's his name, but he basically slammed a warrant into Marty's face. A warrant because the second casino was purchased. They now have to deal with a warrant where the FBI has control of the operations for at least the next month, and the casino is going to be audited, and all the financial records are just going to be checked, and making sure, like, they're going to make sure everything's like really clean and there's nothing illegal going on. So even more stress for the Bird family. All right, and there you have it. All in all, like, this is only the second episode and things are picking up real fast, getting way more interesting. There's just a lot of problems for the Bird family, which is always exciting to see. You know, you don't want things to be like smooth sailing for them. You gotta keep the show going somehow, right? So yeah, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Let me know what your thoughts are about the episode. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'll totally love that, and feel free to subscribe for more content. Thank you. Have a great night. I'm gonna move on to episode 3. Peace.